that's the life I like to live, is a Type 2 fun, because it pushes yourself. Like Baja, a lot of times, like mid-race.
So define Type 2 fun.
Well, Type 1, you're here with your buddies having a good time. It's great. Type 2, you're climbing a mountain. It's -10, and it's absolutely miserable. And you're like, man, I might jump off that cliff right there.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces.
We're back, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Lambo and Leroy show. I don't know what episode we're on, but we're rolling. So I told you last week we're going to have an epic guest this week. We got the famous Christoper Polvoorde. Thank you for coming on, man. We're super stoked to have you.
Thanks for having me.
First off, I need to apologize for these chairs. I mean, they're extremely uncomfortable. And after a while, your ass is going to start
wiggling a little bit more.
Start moving, hanging ass cheek off. Like,
we need Gibson exhaust to buy us some fresh chairs, dude.
Yeah, we need to reach out to those guys.
Yeah.
Somebody knows someone over there. Please reach out to them.
Okay, Mr. Sean Gibson.
We just don't want you to get too comfortable.
All right, we'll see how this goes.
It's fine for a little bit.
It'd be better than the swivel ones, because I just probably start swiveling myself, and next thing you know, I'll be choking myself with the cord. Somebody help me.
Completely backwards.
Yeah.
Completely away from everything.
Well, right on. So I don't know much about you. I try not to research anyone before they come in, because I want to be a surprise and learn. You want to give them a quick intro as to who we're talking to and get them pumped up and excited.
I've known Chris for a really long time, since he was probably this tall, lower than this table over here. His table's really tall. He was racing mod carts back in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series, and he was racing regional series. These guys jumped full board. They jumped in. They're like, we're racing. And so they did regionals. They did the big series, national series. They raced every race they could race, and that's how they've learned over the years. I mean, they've gone there, and then all of a sudden, Chris got a pro light. Chris is racing pro light. Jumps in pro light. Regional series, starts killing it. National series, starts killing it. And then he goes and races East Coast Series, starts winning over at Crandon and winning championships, and it's pretty incredible. I'm going to let him explain a lot more, because there's a lot more in depth on what he does. But basically, he's a racer. He's a businessman. I mean, he gets a lot of it from his dad and the family business, and now he's racing Spec TT and 6100. So it's pretty incredible to have you here, man. We're definitely very honored to have you here. I know you're super busy with your crazy schedule, so thank you for cruising in.
No, I appreciate you having me, and I've known Bryant forever. I feel like
I got to film with this guy for a lot, man. It's been a lot of fun over the years.
He's the first one who really hounded me behind. He was standing behind. I was in front of the camera going, what do
I do? How do I do this? Where do I look?
Media training, man. Media training at the finest.
I can still remember sitting in the one stacker, you filming, and my voice. I hear that video to this day, and it's so just, hello, my name is Christoper Polvoorde. But
hey, don't worry. I still feel like mine does sound like that. Even today, it doesn't get better.
Sean's never changed.
I hate it. I'm like, jeez. I need to talk deeper, Sean. What titles would you give yourself right now? Like, if like business title, is it a racer, team manager, CEO, product? I'm sure you probably have a lot of hats you wear in a lot of different areas, but what are some of those titles? And we can kind of break down into those.
When it comes to the racing side of my business, I would kind of just say I'm like a
badass driver.
No, I don't know what you'd call me. I'm just kind of, I'm not, I guess, like a general manager, because I'm doing so many different things, but I'm not like, I know I still have my dad to help assist with these big decisions. So I consider him like the president, if you want to. We're not really at titles, even in our normal business. That's what.
Because you guys do so much.
Yeah, no, but I'm doing the marketing. That's my main thing. So marketing, managing that, obviously driving. I do help oversee the guys, and now racing down to Baja, all the logistics.
What's the biggest part?
I think a lot of racers are like that. The racer, he has that talent, and he has to learn to evolve and put on other hats to build his program before he can kind of create that team. You almost have to be everything before you can even be a team.
Yep, no, and definitely even more. Yeah, I've been very fortunate. And as my team grows, you still got to be part of it all, because it's this racing world, such a unique thing where it is. But like any business, if you start to let too much off, it goes different ways. But as a racer, especially racing down in Baja, like I have the knowledge down there, so I got to relay it back to my team and stuff. So I don't know. It's I don't know what my hats are. It's like any small business, you wear a million different hats.
What I can relate to that, you know, having a family business and everything. Also, you just kind of put the hat on that needs to be put on and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I couldn't give you a good answer of what I am. I don't want to be like the president or anything. That's too much responsibility.
Exactly. That's a lot of responsibility. Yeah. And when shit goes wrong, where do you go?
Yeah. You go crawl in a hole. Cry,
exactly.
And then you come back out.
Sean knows that nowadays.
Yeah. And then you come back out. All right, I got to do this.
So give you a little background. Sean raced pro buggy back in the core days.
Oh,
back forever ago.
The OG stuff.
The OG stuff, dude. So he raced pro buggy. He's been in desert, river, same lifestyle that we live, you know, that you've lived, and I've been a really cool part of it
Southern
over the years.
Raised.
Southern California raised. His dad started Gibson Exhaust. What year did he start Gibson Exhaust?
1990.
1990, and then his dad recently retired, and now Sean has taken over Gibson and
trying.
Sweet.
And
Congrats.
Do my best.
Hopefully it's good enough. It's business ownership, man. It's tough.
You see it around a lot. So.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I got into racing for many different ways. My son got into racing because of me. How did you get into racing? What were you? What got you into it? When did you start?
So it's a little different story than the average. You know, my dad, So my dad, no one in my family's ever raced.
Really?
No one. My parents were raised on the East Coast. They didn't even know what racing was. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
I move my head around. But so they didn't even know what racing was. Someone owed my dad money for space rent for our
That's so random.
business, and traded him a trophy cart.
Really?
And from there, it's kind of history. You know, just started racing. I remember burning laps in our backyard. We got 8 acres in the backyard, just burning laps in circles. And
I hear your dad's thinking that was a fair trade, and then he didn't realize how much that trade cost him down the road.
Yeah. He's like, man, I should have just let the guy go delinquent.
This is way worse.
So it started off super casual. Like, if I did good in school, we'd go race the regionals, and I was horrible. I'm going to be straight up. There's no, like, I remember first race, 2 corners in, rolled. Like, and I was crashing cars nonstop. I don't know why my dad kept letting me drive that thing. If we're going to be 100% honest, like, it was bad in the beginning. And slowly just started working through it, and then realized we didn't like losing. That part really hurt. And then eventually just started, you know, there was like a clicking point. I don't know when it was, but we started like, you know, I got a new crew chief, this guy, Chris Salazar. He came on board to just help start prepping because it was me and my dad prepping it all, you know. And when Chris came on, he was like, well, why are you guys losing so much? And I was like, well, yeah, you know.
I guess we're not trying hard enough. I don't know.
No. And if you know Salazar, like, he's just
because we don't have you, Chris.
Yeah, he's straight to the point. And so that point, like, forward, you know, we built better cars. I was training. I was go-karting a couple days a week. And all of a sudden, you started to see the results. And then once I got that first win, it was over. It was like, this is my life.
We're now addicted to it.
Yeah, it's a drug. From there on, it was just kind of, but yeah, not your traditional start.
What year was that?
Around 2010.
10, okay.
Yeah, around 2010.
Long time, man.
Yeah, no, it's crazy now to look back. It seems like
damn, 12 years ago. It's crazy.
That's more than, it's all I know, you know. That's you know, that was right around 10 years old, so that's kind of right where, you know, start to define yourself more, I guess, and that's now it's.
And then you build your family from the track, you know, your track family.
Yeah, no, all my best friends are like in my hometown, I have a very, very small group. And all my, you know, you got Ronnie, Elliot, you know, these kids and all. It's cool to see where everyone's gone different ways.
It is really cool.
And
they actually just bought Miles Cheek's old RS1.
Okay, sweet. Yeah,
sweet.
Miles, they build fast cars.
It's a badass car. The problem is it's set up for short course and it's designed to kill short course, and it worked well. But we're trying to do some works races with it also. So we're trying to kind of dabble in. But this year we're going to try and we're going to go race this weekend at the Dirt Series. It's out there in the LACR.
Yep. Yeah.
Just looks like a fun track. Like right now, our racing program is kind of where yours was. Like, you get good grades, we can go race.
Yeah.
You get shitty grades, the shit goes away.
Keep it casual. Keep it casual. I've seen so many, like, especially these days, like, so many kids or dads bringing their kids and are just like, the competition's so gnarly. They just try, and then by the time they're 10 or
they're over
12, they're like, screw this. Racing sucks.
Well, exactly. And that's how it was with go-karts for us. He raced go-karts since he was 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
And there was times when it's like, we're just having fun, bro. Just have fun. Then there's times when it got really competitive, and there's times like, hey, let's back this thing off. I mean, I think the biggest difference is when you start going for championships, it puts a whole different level of stress on everything. Sometimes you got to really dig for that right personality because it's hard not to take serious when every position counts. Like, why didn't you make that last pass on that last turn like you should have? That's one position. Like, you start kind of sweating the small stuff and really losing focus of what the big picture is. Like, just come have fun. Like, I mean, it's hard for anyone. The percentage of anybody becoming like a professional race car from it is very slim. So let's just have fun, make, good memories and move forward through life. But, we're going to try and get into short course this year again with him. Because, dirt was always our thing, so we yanked him out of the pavement. He was kind of getting over it, too. We've been doing it forever. But, yeah, we're hoping to, go get some seat time and maybe get him on the track and just, see how his, go-kart ability will do, in short course. I think it's going to do great because it's all about, entry speed, braking points, apex, exit speed, rolling speed. I mean, if you've been practicing in go-karts, then how important that is. Because when I was racing core, I didn't know any of that shit. I grew up in the desert, sand cars playing, and I just went in as hard as I could into the turn, out of the turn, and then I'd have,
Big roost.
Yeah, and then I'd have like Greg George or, McCackron and stuff just come right by me, and I'm like, how are they doing that? Like, what the hell? Like, I must not be going in hard enough. So I need to go in harder. And then I would lose more speed. Then I would wreck. And then it's just like, wow, there's so much to it. And I don't think a lot of people really understand how much work you guys put into it and how tight the competition is. Like, we're talking tenths of a second, right?
Yeah.
Tenths of a second is nothing, guys. Like,
it's crazy. That's the crazy part. It blows my mind. Like I remember back in the day when I was racing for a championship in mod kart, the top 5 would qualify sometimes within the 10th.
It was insane.
Sometimes within the 1,000th.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and for me, I'm looking at my, I just did 5 laps and they're all within 2/10,
which is
awesome. But I'm like, 2/10? Like, how did I even pull that out? Like I blew that corner. Like, I made a mistake here, but I was faster there. So it's crazy. Like,
it all makes it up.
I mean, it's one little rut. Turning in that little bit or lifting tiny bit or not.
Yeah.
It's just, and I always told my son, I go, quit focusing on the entire lap and focus on one turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Work on this one. Get that one going. Then work on the next one. And, and just start working. And it's a little bit. It's like everybody thinks, oh, my God, I'm in like 5th. And you're like, and I'm so far off. You're like, no, it's just a little bit here. Like, they go out and just change their whole setup, their whole driving style. And it's like, you just started over, bro. Just work on it a little bit. Maybe, if you're breaking into the turn, 10 feet before and throwing it sideways, do it 9 feet that time, next time, right? And then drive out,
it's just a small movements. And that's a lot of off-road misses that, in my opinion. But you know what I mean? But as soon as you start going to go-karts and stuff, like, it's so obvious. Like, because it's like, it's black and white. There's so much gray in off-road because of the dirt, the changing.
That's true,
And when you get in a go-kart, it's like, dang, I suck. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very obvious, you know? And they're like, why'd you break there? And in the dirt, you can be like, oh, I wasn't breaking. It was just, it broke loose. And, you can psych yourself out. That's what I hated when I was younger. They put when all the data started coming out and we were able to use
you can see everything.
GPS, all this stuff. I mean, it ruined me because I couldn't. I'm like, this car sucks. And
it's not the car.
And now they're like, well, you broke here, and why'd you do that? Or you weren't even full throttle here, and you're like,
my son hated it because we had it on the go karts because he'd always complain about the car or anything. I'd pull up the data and go, look, well, here's if you took your best spots of every lap you did, you would be on pole by with a second, right? I go, but instead you screwed off here, broke late, turned in early right here, pinched the exit, look at your speed, and the data was just a tool to hey, keep working on you. I'll keep working on the car, but it's not just one thing. Like, we're a team, it's both things. Let's work together.
Yeah. No, and that's what's so cool about data. If you have the drive to go and, as a driver, I guess, and
learn from it
and go and look at it, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's awesome. I geek out on that stuff.
Do you use the same data when you're like doing Baja stuff?
Not as much.
Yeah,
it's a little harder.
It's not the fine tuning stuff. Yeah.
But I'm still looking at some stuff.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, entry speeds and stuff, playing with one more stuff. But it's like I said, it's a lot more gray because there's no everything's different.
Yeah.
And that's
changes constantly, too.
It's constantly changing, too,
Yeah, and that's what's kind of fun, like, for me, because I take my short course experience and I'm putting it into this desert. And so I have all this, and I, like, want to use it, but then, like, you're trying to figure out how to use it. But then it's like you're adapting, and then so it's more of like a mental. So it's kind of a – but I do enjoy that.
How is it, though, going from short course to, like, running the Baja, where short course you need the truck to last, 15 laps, right? And then now you need to last, like, 1,000 miles. Like, how do you calm yourself down? I mean, is that first, like, 30 minutes, you just run it? I mean, I guess my question is something likely to happen more in the first, 30 minutes of the race or the last 30 minutes of the race?
Well, I mean, looking
from
at
a driver's standpoint,
looking at my history, it's an oddball right now, but
random.
But no, being 100%, getting that, like, I get in that truck and I'm used to we gotta go.
It's just wide open race mode.
Because a lot of time in short course, if you don't make if you're
first turn,
your things are changing. So like that, I've really struggled. But then I tune it down too much. And then I'm just like in there, just lollygagging, and they're like,
the adrenaline's not there. Even though you're supposed to relax and get in there, but
no. And I that last race, the Baja 500, like it was finally like one of those races where I actually can say like in the first like 20 miles, I felt where I needed to be.
Oh, good.
Where like in the going from short course where I'm just like on kill mode. Most of the time I get in the desert truck and I'm like, and then I'm like, it's so dusty, and you're on like leaving Baja when you're leaving Ensenada. It's super tight. There's so much room.
Real quick, I want to cut you off. Explain to these guys kind of like a quick what short course is versus off-road.
No, I always get jumped to this. So short course off-road, but just imagine a motocross track in a stadium. We're running. It's usually 15, 20 laps, about 20 minutes, and it's just
about
all
a mile
out.
and a half.
Top speed,
mile and a half
like
lap,
top
right?
speed, what, 60, 70, 80?
Yeah,
depending on the track.
Speed, usually around like 75, and then occasional big track will hit her about.
But then
100.
you're coming into a turn and going from 75 to 45 in a matter of an easy up, right?
Yeah, no, that's the crazy about short course. Like, if you really think you're driving down the freeway at 75, you're like, dang, I'm going pretty quick, and we're turning into a 90-degree corner,
right away.
and not even questioning it. So that's what's cool about short course. And short course is, everyone starts at once.
And door to door.
It's door to door. We're landing on each other. I mean, I've landed on my wheels and kept going. Like, there's
well, that's the first thing you try and do when you land on your wheels. Is, is it still
Can
there?
we still go?
Can we still go?
I've even done that hanging from a catch fence. Different story. Why is this thing not going?
I don't understand.
My vision wasn't quite there yet, but no. So short course is just this intense, more the racing you would think, and then Baja desert racing is a big endurance racing, a lot more logistics, and you're racing in a truck for 10, 15, 20, 27 hours was last year at the Baja 1000.
And it's timing, right? It's all time based.
It's timing. So we're starting in 30 seconds apart. We're all on the same course.
Yeah.
There's 10
there's
different
waypoints,
classes. Right? Yeah, so there's virtual checkpoints throughout the course that we have to hit. Then there's actual physical checkpoints too.
Yeah. So it's not a start to finish time. It's a collective time of all the waypoints, right?
Or it's start to finish.
It's start to finish. When you start,
but you have to go to the waypoint. In other words, you get
if you miss a waypoint,
to stay on the track.
So if I miss a waypoint, it's like for like a simple one in Baja, it's 10 minutes.
Okay,
that's a lot.
If you miss a because sometimes you'll be like, man, if I miss this one waypoint, I'll actually make up
20 minutes. Yeah.
They're going to call you out for that.
Yeah.
They'll look, because I'll be like, well, then I'll take the 10 minutes. I'm still 15 minutes.
That's legit, yeah.
And that's one of the cool things. We can get into that later about racing in Baja, like the virtual checkpoints. It's fun. But, yeah, so, like, they penalize you for that. So it is start to finish. But, everyone's racing. Like, I could finish first physically. Then some guy comes in 20 minutes later, and he just beat me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's what's trippy for me. Like,
that's how the works race is, too. When you race the works races, it's all timed like that.
Oh, is it timed like that, too?
Everything's staggered, too, yeah. And so, a lot of times, it's harder for someone. Obviously, if you have clean air up front, it's easier to maintain speed, less traffic. But people can come from the back and beat them because they made up more time. They made up. You think about it. If everybody took off in their 30-second intervals, all you have to do is just be 30 seconds faster, and you moved up in front of everyone right there on corrective time.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what's racing in Baja, it's interesting because we are racing different classes. So it is like kind of like, do I want to start first or do I want to start in the middle of the pack? Because when I start first, I'm battling right off the start. I'm battling trophy trucks and class ones. Yeah. They got double horsepower, big tires, just ripping.
What class are you in?
Trophy truck spec.
Oh, okay, rad.
So yeah, I consider myself. I think we're higher than class ones now, personally. But that's
for
a different
sure.
discussion.
No, you are. Man, I love a class one.
He's a buggy dork. He's a buggy dork.
Honestly, I love class ones. But man, racing down in Baja, we're just a lot quicker than them nowadays at most courses. Mm-hmm. Occasionally, they put out a heater.
They have more suspension.
Yeah, that's the thing. And
more weight.
It's tough because we're racing them, and I'm trying to battle these guys, and they're like, they got the horsepower, so it's a tough because as soon as we hit a straight line, they're gone.
They're gone.
Oh, wow.
But then in all the tight stuff, I reel them in. So then it's like this. It's a tough battle. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of class ones, but that's a different story. All the class one guys already hate me.
All right, show's over, guys. Thank you for coming.
They call it buggy dorks for a reason. Come on.
No.
I like being a dork.
I know.
Yeah, so it's like all strategy. That's the thing, Baja. It's this strategy. It's this mental game where short courses just all out war, and people are constantly asking me, what do you like better? And it's tough, man, because they all have their plus and minuses.
Exactly.
I mean, when you go down for Baja, you're down there 3 weeks before pre-running, right?
Yep.
That's got to be your favorite time.
That's
pre-running.
It is. It's a ton of fun, but I'm one of those people, I struggle with it. I'm so competitive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to win.
Takes a long time.
And I go down there, and it's like a mission. I am all my guys hate me because at 6 a.m. I'm banging on doors.
Let's go.
We're going.
Yeah.
It's daylight. And
time pre-run.
And we'll most days down there, I'm doing 16 to 18-hour days.
Wow.
Dude, insane.
And I don't know why I do it because it wears myself out. I've slowly been slowing down, but Baja was so new to me a lot that I was trying to learn the roads. And I would go down there for 2 weeks straight and just be logging, 5,000-6,000 miles in a week or whatever.
And you have a co-pilot with you too, marking all the points, everything.
Yeah, so we go down and we usually do our first lap, just kind of fast, kind of just cruising. Getting to know the area, and then the next lap we come through and our average speed is 15 miles an hour. So it takes us just taking notes, and we try to really just lock in some good notes, and then we proceed to just do, my goal is usually 5 laps at the minimum.
Now there's public on these roads you're going down too, right? I mean,
yeah, especially pre-running. I mean, it's farmers, cows,
everything,
horses. Yeah, it's
so
everything
insane.
You can imagine. I mean, there's schools.
Taco stops,
Yeah. Then you got
always taco stops.
It's always a battle, Is that a safe taco spot?
That's very funny.
They all look the same. It's hard to know.
No. Spending so much time in the beginning, I had to be a lot more careful. Now I've been spending I calculate last year I spent 3 months in Baja.
Wow.
Nice.
So it was all right, my stomach's now. I can eat some
Your stomach's better,
stuff.
I can even drink the water.
I don't know. I haven't ventured that far, but
I don't know if anyone can do that.
No, it's definitely a venture. The pre-running is so much fun, but I do take it I'm well, someone else is out there doing it more.
Yeah.
I'm that very I have the opportunity. I've said a lot about this time. I have to use it to my fullest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what
20-hour days.
That's amazing. What would you say so far, in your career, is the peak and the pit? What's the high and the low so far? There's is there one moment where it's gonna live with you forever, and then one moment, on a negative side where you're just man, I'm going to avoid that.
Yeah, that kill me.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'd say my.
Being on a fence, trying to go, revving it out.
that one wasn't that bad. That one I was 15, yard sale to trophy cart, just totally, I was so concussed. I was yelling on the radio, why won't this thing
it's
go?
Not going.
And they're going. The rear end was over there, the front end was over there.
That was the last round at Elsinore?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was so gnarly.
It was 13 barrels.
Oh. If I could find the clip, I think we have it
parts of it.
That was a mod cart, right?
Yeah,
mod carts.
This was back when mod carts was
dude, it was the craziest competition.
Yeah, it was mod carts are legit now, but the courses back there and stuff, we were jumping so
sick.
big,
yeah,
and
cool.
I remember just we were doing, and it was kind of this
Dad's don't lift.
Yeah, and there was the group of kids were kind of all reckless, and I don't know, we were just going for it.
Yeah,
we had Hager and Cheek and all them, but I'd say my high peak that I always look back at is 2019 World Championships. I just won 8 races in a row.
Wow.
Every round.
Every race.
And what class is this in?
Pro
Pro
light.
Wow.
And then I won the world champion, the World Cup. But that for
At
me,
Crandon.
it was one of those moments
It
where
gives me the chills thinking about
was
that. Wow, that's
insane.
awesome.
it was one of those things. But like the high was awesome, but like the relief of like the pressure was even
you're like, I could
better.
do it. I did it.
Well, it was.
I think, are you the only one that's done a perfect season like that?
I think Evan Evans may have done something like that in the
Yeah.
past. I forget. He got close.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, I think I'm one of the only. Yeah. No
Perfect
one's
season.
done.
That's insane.
And it was so stressful. It was one of the most like the first 2 rounds we won. Yeah, 2 rounds.
Cool.
In a row. Sweet.
Yeah.
No, okay,
Slept a weekend.
4. I was like, wow, this is pretty legit. Like the pressure was kind of, everyone's like,
settle in.
you're walking through the pitch, you're gonna win the next one, like joking around.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I'm gonna try.
And it was like legit. And obviously, I'm not complaining. But then like by the last weekend at Crandon, like if you looked at me, I could have punched you. Like I was loose.
Yeah,
like
you're like, it's
loose
so much
cannon over
more now.
here.
You're like, there's so many things now that are on your mind. The championship, the winning, and then being
streak.
this one to do this perfect season. Like,
Yeah.
what the
And it
hell?
was like, well, he can do it, obviously. Like, why won't
know
he
he-
do
yeah,
it? Like,
why-
and so, like, that part, like, man, I was a stress case. And I felt so bad. Like, I eventually, like, just locked myself in, like, our semi. Because all the fans at Crandon are super interactive. And they're
really
awesome.
cool,
They
though,
are the
yeah.
best fans ever. And they would kept, everyone, dude, you're going to do it. You're going to win.
stop.
Like, and they, like, kept asking me, like, you going to do it? And I'm just like, no. I'm going to go out there and be like,
I gave up. I was
gonna
gonna
pull
run
off.
around the back.
I'm gonna pull off.
yeah, and like that stress part of it, like man, I was just like, so to finally get that off, and obviously it was just like this accomplishment, and it's one of those moments that like you look back and it was like someone was looking out for us, and it was everything aligned, and
Yeah.
Well, it
made
almost
me
sounds like
proud.
the peak and the pit was both the same in one because you almost need the positives. You need the negatives to have that positive. And if it
Yeah.
wasn't that moment and everything and then be able to accomplish it, you probably wouldn't have had that same feeling,
Yeah.
like that relief of, I can't even imagine. That is so amazing.
yeah, no, that weekend I think I ran like 15 miles. I was like I would just like I
Just
just
to clear your head.
Just go
yeah,
run.
I was just like so stressed out. Like
Yeah.
I work out to like clear my head, and like I didn't bring my bike, and I hate running, and I was just like I just remember like just running
Like
and
Forrest
like
Gump,
Forrest
just
Gump, dude,
gone.
just going for
Dude,
it.
I remember people were like looking at me like I was running through like the campground, just like drenched, like just because it's humid, and I was just miserable. Like,
I can't
but it was
handle
like
this.
yeah, it was just that was my only.
Just
getaway.
running by the naked slip and slide.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah. Usually by like 10 a.m. it's usually not fired up.
Yeah,
if
not
you
yet.
walk by at 6 a.m. it's still
It's
going.
still going from night 4. Exactly.
Yeah, so
It's
you
still
gotta,
going.
you gotta play it right.
The perfect timing.
Yeah.
Now that was a crazy weekend, man. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was memorabilia. It was the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Kid Rock played.
Oh,
so it was one
man.
of those
It was
moments
the
like
biggest weekend of short course I think almost ever.
ever, and that's
Yeah.
how you look
And
back.
you won.
Yeah, and you look back and you're like, man, how am I gonna top that? Like it's definitely
real.
tough.
Yeah.
Like, not to sound like, but it was just like that was one of those moments that
Yeah.
it'll live with me forever.
Yeah.
So then, did you race Pro Light again after that?
Yes.
Okay. When did you get into? Are you racing Pro 2 right now too?
No, I
No.
still race pro.
Oh,
Light.
just Pro Light still.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so-
Awesome.
and
Yeah.
then he's doing the Spec TT.
Yep.
But last year you had to. I mean, last year was your first year in Spec TT, correct?
Yes. Yeah, my truck just turned a year.
A year old.
Yep.
Incredible.
So how does that do for sponsors and stuff? You've run through all of that. I mean, were you getting hit up with sponsors? People like come on board? Like, how does the sponsorship aspect work once you've done something so pinnacle like that?
It's good. It's different. I don't know. Sponsors are tough, especially in 2022. And
Oh, yeah.
with COVID and everything. But sponsors, that definitely did help. But it wasn't like it was like, please, like stay away.
Yeah.
Like I have too much. But like anything, I mean, sponsors are tough, and that's what I definitely. There's no downplay to raising money and stuff. It's a tough business, and
I
to
can
people who do it, hats off to everyone who's able to do it successfully. But it definitely helped, being able to walk into a meeting, you have a little more confidence and like,
Yeah.
hey, I've done this, not just like, hey, I could do this.
Yeah.
Like,
With your help, I could potentially do this.
yeah, no. So, and I've been very fortunate with, my family and the people who picked me up early that I've had a good core, and I've been with a lot of these companies for a lot of years. So that definitely like helped, and it made me like proud that these people have been sponsoring me. Like they
Yeah.
saw the vision in me and
Yeah.
like was like, oh, like because people talk like, oh, you're gonna win a championship one day, and you're like, yeah, I'd love to, and then
So who are your sponsors? We're gonna bleep them out because they're not paid sponsors yet. But no, who are your main sponsors?
Optima Batteries is my number one. I do a ton with them. And then Ford Performance, I do a lot with Ford Performance. Steal It, which is an amazing company. Steal It Coatings. The list goes on and on. Toyo Tires, Vision Wheel, K&N, like Fox Shocks. I just switched over to Fox, which I've been loving.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So, yeah, the list goes on. But really, the big supporters, Optima, Ford, those guys, they are – I'm very fortunate.
And, I mean, are you going to take responsibility for getting those sponsors? I mean, wearing the multiple hats? I mean, you went out there, found them – made it happen.
And a lot of it, I'm not going to take full responsibility. A lot of it's just networking and like getting to meet, and that's what I always tell people, like getting these sponsors. Like you never know who's who. You never know the ability, and you got to be able to like put yourself out there and start small and see. So like with Optima Batteries, through a friend of ours, Rob.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like, hey, they need you to do something.
Yep.
Just came out there. They weren't giving me much and whatnot, and now it's grown into this relationship where I'm very, the family of the chief marketing officer, like everyone, like it's, their family now.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's the big thing is the sponsorship thing is just becoming friends with these people. And and a lot of times the more you hang around them, it's your people.
100%. Y'all have a similar interest.
Yeah. No, I won't take 100% though. I've been very fortunate. My dad's helped a ton. He's a successful business person, and he's like, really kind of guided me, but he didn't know what he was doing either.
He was also still new.
He's like, do this thing, and then but then I've got guys like Ken Johnson, Robert Wilson, who are in this automotive industry, have been like, they've always been so supportive and pushing me ways and making me get out there. But main thing, I don't know, just putting yourself out there. One of my biggest sponsors ever, I sat next to him at a chapel service.
No way.
At a race.
Really?
Didn't even know who he was, and if you wouldn't have thought who he was. Like and I remember him talking to me, and at that point, it was with a wheel sponsor. I'd already had a wheel sponsor. I was like, he was telling me what he was doing. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm kind of
kind of a big deal.
I know. At this point, I was still I was still a kid. I'm still a kid, but I hope I at least identify as a kid, even though I have responsibilities.
I still do.
Yeah,
I'm still a kid.
I'm gonna keep holding that, but no,
it's a big kid with a credit card.
Yeah,
that's a scary part.
Yeah, I know, right?
No.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, my next question was kind of be like, for my son and other people of his, age and that group, but what advice would you give them to pursue, an off-road career or how to improve it? But I think you just kind of answered it as far as just, put yourself out there. And you never know who you're standing next to, who you're around, who's watching.
I think that's a huge deal right there, too. It's like you always represent yourself, high end, because you never know who's around and who's watching you.
No, you never know. And I feel like a lot of people with this sponsorship thing, like, think they're gonna come to you. Like when I win that big thing, like it's gonna be like, all right, where's the email?
Yeah, where's the sponsors? Give me
$100,000 out. Make it 150. We'll think about it. But really, it's just you got to put yourself out there. Like anything in life, you got to get out there and you got to put your feet on the ground. And a lot of times, it's like talking to girls, like you get a lot of no's. Like that thing, like how many yeses
you
to
get?
no. Yeah,
exactly.
So it's kind of like that. Like you really gotta. But then, like what I've always done in my marketing, and it's different than others, is like I just tried to fill like where people weren't, and did some different things to help separate me. And in our off-road world, I got looked at weird a lot for some certain things I didn't. It's never, none of them weren't like, wow, Christoper's doing this. It was just different. And it took a lot of work. But then I could go to a sponsor and be like, well, I'm doing this. And they'd be like, oh, you're going like an extra step. So always putting that extra step in, even if it's not necessary. A lot of them probably don't even care about it. But the fact that I'm out there, like, so I think that's the big thing. Networking, putting yourself out there and going that extra step.
It means a lot. I mean, obviously you went the extra step when it came to the programming, the car or the truck that you had to win races and go, and doing that from a marketing standpoint too. I mean, coming from a manufacturer and stuff, it's difficult at times because we came from an era where people were like, yeah, pay me money, I'll put your logo on my stuff, And that's about
That's
it.
it. Like,
Like nothing more. And I'm just like, okay, this doesn't really do anything. Oh, so now I got to spend all this other money to go let people know that I gave you money to put my logo on.
Yeah.
And we've had some great programs where we changed things throughout the way. You know, our Metal Militia stuff back in the day, and kind of doing more of a co-marketing thing and made it a business venture for both sides, so it could generate revenue and stuff. And yeah, thinking out of the box. Like a lot of people can look at everything right now and think, well, it's already all been done. You know, there's nothing more. There's nothing more we can really. There's nothing more we can really do. And that's what we thought when MySpace came out.
Yeah.
That's what we thought when Facebook came out.
Yeah.
That's what we thought when. Now just look at everything. It keeps changing. There's always room for something new, in really any aspects of our life. Like just don't settle.
No, Chris always got over the top too. He's like, he has a 2-seater Pro Light, so he can take people on rides. Like there's always more. He goes to SEMA every year. He does rides at SEMA, like drifting people around. Like he's always gone above and beyond because that's where it separates him from others.
So I mean, you obviously have done really well with what you've got. You've got the right mindset, the right stuff. You know, tell us about your family, your past. Like, where did you come from? Like, what are you guys all about? Like, I mean, 'cause I'm sure it sounds like you come from a great family and a great story.
Yeah, no, I've been very fortunate. Born and raised Hemet, California.
Sweet.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Straight from
H-Town.
the streets. No. But no, born and raised in Hemet.
I used to go to the sand drags over by the casino all the time when I was
Sonoma.
younger.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I grew up going to those too. So, yeah.
I saw each other out there. You didn't even know.
Yeah, I'm a little older than
He was a little baby. You're a hero.
I don't think he was around when I was going.
No, so born and raised Hemet, SoCal kid, grew up going to the river, going to the desert like anyone else. Very fortunate. My parents, they've been super supportive. My dad, he's a go-getter, 120% all the time. I'm 22, and I cannot keep up with his pace.
Rad.
Like 100%. Like, I can't keep up with him. So, just been chasing him around my whole life. And I have 2 older sisters. Very fortunate. They're both very supportive. And, no, yeah, just kind of, I've been, get to live a fun lifestyle, traveling around. But
now, is racing your day job, or do you have another day job?
I like it.
Or is racing your side hustle or your day job?
It's always been, my main focus, but now getting a little older, having some responsibilities, which I just still don't have that many, so I can't complain too much.
Like bills. What are bills?
Yeah,
like,
no.
damn it.
No, I moved out for a little, and I was like, man, this is not. I'll move back in. Yeah.
I don't care what age you are. If you have the opportunity to move back to your parents for a little bit, I think everybody does.
Right,
It's a nice, just refresher course of like, okay.
It reminds me of why you want to get back out there.
Exactly. It's both.
No. Yeah. That's a. But luckily, my parents travel a lot, so it's kind of
So
like
you kind of got your own place.
Yeah. No, so I do the racing, and I'd like to say that's probably about 40, depending on the week. Some weeks I couldn't tell you how much, but like I try to split it. That's probably about 40% of my week, and then 60% of my week I work for our family business, which is in property management and development.
Nice.
So we own and operate mobile home parks.
Sweet. That's kind of random.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Trailer trash, like we like.
So like mobile home parks, like by the beach, or like in Hemet, like Hemet mobile home parks.
we got them both.
Yeah,
We got 'em both. We actually don't own. In Hemet, there's over 95 mobile home parks.
Oh my gosh, that's
And-
crazy.
I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Well, it started off as a retirement community, and so there's all the old communities, but now they've turned in like.
So then they all passed away, and all their grandkids moved in and turned it into whatever it is.
Now it's now it's trailer park boys stuff. But no, we do have some. We don't own any in Hemet though, but we do own some that are more just for a low income living housing stuff like that. And then we also have some down on the river. the Colorado
rad.
River. So we have 4 locations on the river.
You have 4 now?
Yeah, it's gotten crazy.
Oh my gosh! So they own the Palms River Resort in Needles,
Wow.
and then you guys have the Palms River Edge.
Palms River Edge. So I guess
Blythe?
Yes, it's in Ehrenberg, which is directly across from Blythe.
Okay.
And we bought 2 of them and merged them. So we're technically 3
cool.
locations.
Okay.
And then we have another one in Needles that's 55 plus on the water.
Nice, man.
Yeah, that one's a little quieter. But
That's
yeah,
cool,
the Palms River Resort, that's in the off-road industry.
What's
it's
your
become
favorite one?
The Palms River Resort. That's where I grew up going to.
And that's the one down in Ehrenberg?
That's in
Or
Needles.
Needles. Oh, okay, Needles.
They're all the Palms. Everything we own is the Palms.
Perfect.
So it makes it really easy.
Oh, even like your old person ones, the Palms as well.
Yeah, everything
really
is
nice.
the Palms at Verde Shores, the Palms
cool.
at the Spanish Palms, Palms at Clayton. Like it's
Nice.
it's
Just
it's
the
all
Palms.
yeah.
That's nice though.
So yeah, the Needles one it's fun. I grew up going there, and that was kind of like my dad's like gym. Like he's always like, I never make like I don't make like I just put too much money into this thing. Like why'd I do that? Because it's just a rad facility.
It's really cool.
Brian's been out there. It's on the river. 5-star resort almost.
Nice,
like
man.
we got
Really?
2
A
pools.
badass pools, like it's cool.
A huge event center.
Now, can you if you don't have a trailer in there, can you go in there and rent a spot? Do you guys have stuff like
so
that?
we have RV spots that you could bring your your
Okay.
fifth wheel down and whatnot, and then we do have a couple bungalows we call them
Rent out.
that you can come and rent the bungalows.
Do you let people Airbnb in there?
We do not. We used to, and it
Got out of control.
it gets out of control, and it
Yeah.
actually, not to go on this other business side, but it puts a lot on our infrastructure, and it ultimately ruins the experience for homeowners. In my
So, I mean, we have a trailer at a trailer park in Havasu.
Yep.
I'm sure you're probably familiar with the Beachcomber.
yep.
And, we tried to acquire it with some friends when the lease came up, and then someone came in and just paid just stupid amounts of money for it. But, through COVID, there was a ton of Airbnbs coming in, and it really kind of changed the entire aspect of it, because before only you had to own a place to be there.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of mutual respect between everyone there, and you bring in a different level with the Airbnbs. Now, granted, that's, a negative. The positive was, I had friends and family that have Airbnb'd in there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a give and take, but I was curious because a lot of places don't allow that for that reason.
Yeah, we used to.
But it makes
and
sense.
It just, we're a family-oriented park. Most of them are, very family, and that's what, I like to, Havasu, there's definitely family aspects, but it's a little more party scene, generally, you know? You go up to Needles, it's a lot quieter, and that's where I think, our park feels like a good, it's great for that family, like a fireman.
It is
or
cool,
something.
man.
Yeah.
Everyone hangs out on the street at night. Like everyone parties together. Like it's a really cool atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a cool atmosphere. And when we
Just like
brought
the
the
Beachcombers, I
Airbnb,
mean.
I grew up, when I was
different.
born, my parents were going to Parker all the time. They thought it was crazy. But then we would go to Needles, went up to Needles, up in that area at the marina right below the bridge and stuff. We would stay there a lot and camp. It was called Park Moabi, which people know as,
now, Pirates.
Pirates, where you camp on the point
Yeah.
and do all that stuff. And then we, went down to Havasu, but then we did the family side in Black Meadows, which is kind of like the quiet, because in Havasu, people think of Havasu as like Sandbar Channel, crazy. Oh my God, it's all
There's so
crazy.
many other places you can go.
It's
that's
a
not
large
crazy.
lake. I
Yeah.
mean, you
No,
can get
there's
away.
so
I mean,
much.
if you don't want to be part of the party,
You don't have to be part
have
of
to.
it.
You
Yeah.
can go to other areas, even on the busiest holiday.
I don't know, man. Every time I go to Havasu, I'm like, dude, how did I end up here?
Because you're hanging out with the wrong group.
Well, you're 23. You're doing it right still.
You gotta stop hanging out with Trey and Paul and all those guys.
I stay away from those guys. No, I hadn't gone to actually Havasu until 3 years ago.
Really?
We had driven through. I
Yeah.
had gone down once on the boat, but I had never went and stayed in Havasu.
Yeah.
There's a lot more room for trouble.
Oh yeah.
Room for trouble.
Yeah.
Dude, it's cool when you're at the Palms River Resort in Needles. It's very chill. It's like you're in your own little area. You don't leave the freaking resort really at all.
You don't, because
It's
you have your friends and family that
exactly.
are
You're
there,
there.
your
Yeah,
neighbors,
it's cool.
everyone's.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a store there with a huge
Yeah.
a beer fridge and that part.
you got everything you need, man. It's
So we
cool.
tried to
you mob
make
the
it,
golf carts around. It's
Yeah,
easy.
it's we tried to make it this little home away from
Oasis.
Yeah, where you're just you go there, you park the truck, you put the boat in the water, and
hit the
yeah.
water.
That's awesome. So now, what do you do for the property management company? What's your?
I'm new to it, and I've been very fortunate. My dad wants to teach me and stuff like that, and he's been very helpful. But I'm just trying to play catch up. I've played some different roles. I was in the management a lot more, so helping oversee a couple parks. Kind of as that more corporate level, I guess you'd call it. We're not really corporate, but above the and helping that. But nowadays, I kind of identify, I guess, as a project manager. I'm just kind of running around. We're putting 62 new spaces at a park. So that's one of my projects is helping the development, which I've been fumbling and it's a slow moving thing. But my dad's there still helping me. So he's he makes it my project. So I got that. We're putting solar on one of our properties.
Yeah.
And then I just help out on some of the management stuff and just random projects because there's a lot of we as a company, we buy these parks that are really run down and improve them.
That's great.
And then we manage them. So I help on the improving side. That's really kind of where I've been enjoying more. The management side I didn't like as much, man. I was getting calls by people.
It's tough.
Yeah, that I just
didn't
didn't
behind the scenes.
Yeah, that didn't fit my demeanor, I guess.
Well, my advice for someone young like yourself going through that in the family business is ask questions, listen, and never for once think you already know it all. No. Because I'm sure even your dad, even myself,
learning
Lambo,
every day.
Continue learning and try to learn something new every day. No, I've always told my son, how do you know if your day is successful? I learned something new.
Yeah.
Anything.
That's huge.
Anything.
Yeah.
I'd always ask them when they come home from school, what'd you learn today? Just
Yeah.
one thing. Just something new and move forward and keep compounding it.
No, and that's
There's
what
always something to learn.
Yeah, I've definitely been learning that because it's a tough balance. Family business is not easy, and especially it's fun though. I don't know. I'm very
What you guys
fortunate.
doing in Mammoth? You were in Mammoth for a while working out there. Were you doing storage units or what?
Yeah. So we at a few of our parks we have storage facilities on site, but then up in Mammoth we go up there for vacation and stuff, and we have a lot of toys, and there was nowhere to store them.
Same, yeah.
There was nowhere to store them, so there was an issue. We
solved the issue.
We solved it. So we built a storage facility up there.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
And it was crazy. We built it. It went way over budget. And that one, my dad was. I broke ground on it. I was out there shoveling.
Yeah, you were legit out there shoveling and driving the tractors.
Because my dad, I've been very fortunate. Like my dad, he's like, if you're gonna do this, you're not going straight to the top. And I don't want to because he's thrown me stuff where I'm up top. I'm like, Dad, I have no clue. I need to go. I can't do this.
We get a picture up of him with the shovel and the hard hat.
yeah. But then then he was like, all right, let's do this. So I was on our construction crew for 6 months, and so I broke ground on that. Helped all do that from seeing That was a really cool project.
Yeah.
And how much did you learn from the construction crew when you were there with them, working from all those people you're working with?
So much, and it's been allowed me to take me now, and when I'm overseeing these projects, I'm not getting ripped off or
exactly.
I know what I know the mechanics.
That doesn't take
it.
that long. I know that doesn't take that long.
Yeah. So that part is definitely fun, and I liked the construction. It was miserable. My dad thought it was the funniest thing ever. We did
life.
Yeah, when we did the construction, he came down for 2 months. We did it in Needles, and he was like, "I'm gonna be the project manager on this one."
All right.
And he was just running. It was me and 2 college buddies.
Oh my god!
He was like, "Any of your buddies want to work? I'll teach them too."
All right.
The one kid, it was like a bodybuilder. He lost 35 pounds in a month.
Oh my gosh! From sweating in Needles.
Oh yeah, I was 117, and my dad's like, it was 16-hour days, and you're just seeing staggering.
Oh my gosh!
You get him and just have stories the whole day, anyone. But he thought it was the funniest thing. I did enjoy it though. It made me a better person.
I mean, a lot of those stories that we have, you never really quite enjoyed while in the moment.
Yeah.
But after the fact is when you enjoy them the most.
Type 2 fun. I love Type 2 fun.
Type 2 fun is great. Though,
I've never heard that
stories,
before.
man. I didn't
Type
either.
2
But that's
fun.
great.
No, that's what I always like. That's the life I like to live, is the Type 2 fun, because it pushes yourself. Baja, a lot of times, mid-race.
Well, so define Type 2 fun.
Well, Type 1, you're here with your buddies having a good time. It's great. Type 2, you're climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
It's -10, and it's absolutely miserable. And you're like, man, I might jump off that cliff right there.
Yeah. I'm done.
And then you get back. Then you get back to
talk about it.
You get back to base camp or the lodge, and you're like, dude, this is it's over, and you're like, oh, and you're telling all your buddies about it, and the memories of it is so much fun. Just talking about it right now.
I mean, that's where all of our grandparents and everyone you talk to have all those stories. It's all from Type 2 fun.
Yeah.
It's not from Type 1. I love that. That's rad.
No,
that
I forgot where I heard that. It was a while ago now. I live with that because the desert racing is definitely a lot of times you're like, dude, why am I doing this? You're in the truck for 10 hours.
Yeah.
That's tough.
You gotta pee in a tube. It's just everything's
just
going
on
wrong,
the floor.
and you're just like, what is why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And then I get home, and it's the only thing I talk about.
That was the craziest. Dude, that one time I went like this,
and people are looking at me. They're like, "Do you do anything else?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do other stuff, but this was."
But this Type 2 fun right here.
So if you're not behind the wheel, what's your favorite? What would be your next favorite hobby? That's not motorized, not anything.
Not motorized. I really like to ski. Love to ski. Love to mountain bike. Spend a lot of time on the mountain bike. Not as much as I used to anymore, but tons of mountain biking. Love to ski. I'm just an outdoors person, and
You guys go fishing, don't you? You go fishing.
Yeah,
in
I go
Alaska
fishing.
And
Yeah. So I just caught a big. I'd never been like fishing off the coast of California.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've been like fishing. My parents, they spent a lot of time in Alaska. Went up there, did all that fishing. Yeah, so just last weekend I caught a huge tuna. I was
Dude,
like,
nice.
And it wasn't even that big, but I was
but
like,
still for you,
I was
big.
hyped.
It was the biggest one you got, right?
Yeah, for me, personal record.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So fishing, but definitely like just adrenaline, like. That type of stuff. I'm like
Type
one of
2
those.
fun, yeah. I mean, just like any of that stuff. I mean, a mountain bike or skiing, going down. I mean, there's always that. I guess it's that risk of almost danger.
Yeah.
That kind of creates that adrenaline, and then being able to just like do it without getting hurt. You're like, whoa,
That was sick.
that was amazing.
No.
Or you get hurt. You didn't die.
Or either way,
like,
you got the story, yeah.
Like, wow, that hurt
Yeah.
so bad, but that was fun.
No, yeah,
But-
it's like one of those things. Like the more I guess I grow up, like I didn't realize how much like I just need like adrenaline, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And like the problem is like I've become, and I'm trying to break this more and more. Is like I've become numb to so much, like not like in good ways and bad ways, but like sometimes I go and do stuff and like I take someone along for it, and they're just like, holy cow,
They're blown
and I'm
away,
just
and you're like, eh.
I'm just like, oh, what, like, and I'm like, well, yeah, and then you look at it, you're like, oh, that was pretty crazy. So like that, trying to bring that adrenaline like down, like, because when you're racing a truck and stuff, it's
high.
you're high on dopamine.
You've set your standards way too high.
Yeah, and that's what I've been really trying to like sit down and look
and
back
enjoy
and
those smaller things again.
Yeah, because I get to do. I'm very fortunate. I get to do a lot of awesome things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, this is like I've been really trying to embrace life more, I guess.
That's rad. So, where do you want to see yourself in the future, man?
That's a good question. I have been asking myself a lot that lately.
and it's okay if you don't have an answer, because I don't think any of us really have an answer to the future. I mean, I think a lot of us would think like, be right where we're at right now, but you can't sustain where you're at. You got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
No, and definitely, yeah, I want to move forward. Ultimately, my ideal, I guess my utopia, or whatever you want to call it, I really want to live kind of a lifestyle where, which is, it's a utopia, but I don't know. It's like, I have a balanced work thing with the real estate and stuff, because that's definitely a stability and allows me to go do things like skiing. Because as much as I want like racing, unless something took a real change, you can't.
It's not going to that huge lifestyle.
Yeah, it doesn't allow you to live that wild lifestyle that I really, really, just embrace. And
but it teaches you how to want and how to work for it.
Absolutely.
No, for sure. And that's the racing's taught me so much, like how to run a business and
how
stuff.
To take failures too.
Yeah, like even that's what
always.
me and my dad always talk about. Like if we packed up all the racing right now, like we wouldn't change it. Like there's been ups and downs, and it's a lot of money and da-da-da. But like how close it's brought us, and like how it's taught me, like business wise, like it's one of the coolest things. Like where else can you do something? Like where else can you run a business with your 15-year-old kid and he's enjoying it, kind of? You know what I mean? Like, So, but no, ideally I'd like to find a balance between the racing and kind of living a lifestyle like the racing where I get to pick more races I want to do, not like I have to go race
do the whole series. I gotta do this. Yeah,
I have to do these. Like, so yeah, racing a couple races ideally, and just living a fun lifestyle and working here and there, and a balance.
Did you always? Oh, sorry.
I'll say you went to San Diego State, right?
I went to the University of San Diego, but I didn't finish.
Okay.
I didn't finish. I love his honesty.
I dropped out. Yeah, I dropped out. My mom always says, "You didn't drop out." I'm like, I dropped out.
I just didn't say that because she thinks you're gonna go back and finish it. Like you took a break.
No, and I've honestly thought about it. There's some days I wake up and I'm like,
someday you may go back.
Yeah, no. So I
because
was
of the ladies, huh? That's why you want to go back.
Honestly, number one thing. If we're gonna be 100% honest, what I miss from college is like the lifestyle. It was so much fun, like that part. But yeah, when COVID hit, I just stepped back.
Yeah.
I was doing the online stuff, and I was miserable, man.
Yeah.
I was just I hated it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to push through. So I finished the semester and then started next semester. And
I'm just on work.
I was just debating, and my mom walked in one day, and she's like, you don't need to do this. And I was like, all right.
All right, good. I'm out. I'm done.
Actually, you know where I quit? It was San Felipe, It was San Felipe, the Baja 500, when I was racing for Honda. I was sitting at Pete's camp at the bar. It was the only place with the Wi-Fi.
Gosh.
And I sent my letter.
Did you resignation letter? You're
No
Which
way.
it was probably a bad influence being, in the bar
At a
in
bar in
Mexico
Baja.
racing
I
cars.
quit.
You're like, you know what? This or this?
Yeah.
Okay, easy decision.
It really started off as a break, but
Yeah.
then I started working, and
Yeah.
I went and actually worked for a competitor in the mobile home business.
Really?
Yeah, this guy
See
up
what
in
they're doing?
Sacramento.
Yeah.
And they knew who, they know my dad, so it wasn't like I came in and was like,
Just
oh,
snooping
I'm
around.
snaking everything. But they own 150 parks, so
Oh
it was
my
crazy.
gosh.
We own small bio, so it was a whole different
That's crazy.
So I worked there for I don't know how many months, and then I came down here, and at that point, school was half online, half, and I was like,
no.
I'm just gonna keep working, and
Yeah.
maybe, and it was definitely,
Sweet.
yeah, it was different, but
That's fine, though.
That is awesome.
It works out
man.
for you, so.
yeah, no, it works out. So.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna
Well-
move back to San Diego just for the
Just
girls.
exact for the girls. Well, you recently won Baja, your first Baja race, yeah?
Yeah,
How was that?
epic.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
way.
all that work you put into it and to win it, it's insane.
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
I mean, were you leading the whole time,
No.
or
No.
how? Give us the 2-minute recap.
2
on
minutes.
it.
Yeah, sorry, I ramble on about stuff. If you
No,
haven't
No, it's all,
noticed.
I'm right there too.
Yeah. You got to stop Sean's
Yeah. No, so went down there, San Felipe 250, first
Yeah.
race of the year. I had raced Baja, we did the 400,000 the year prior. Did not go well. It went well, but it was still not
A
where
learning
I
experience.
wanted. Yeah. Went down there. We had just won King of the Hammer, so
You're off your high.
yeah, we're on
You're on a high.
Yeah, we were kind of on a high and went down there, qualified, and showed up for qualifying day, and it was in the sand, and I just didn't feel good. Normally qualifying is my thing.
Yeah.
And I was
Your
like,
sprint.
I'm just gonna go get top 5 because my problem is I always I'm gonna boom.
Want to top one.
And then,
number
but
one.
then down in Baja, I don't know how to lead. I've never led.
Yeah.
It's a whole. You got to set the pace. So went out qualified 4th or something. Perfect. I was
Sweet.
happy. It was weird. I was in this different mindset of.
Yeah.
I wasn't on kill mode, which
Yeah.
but it was a good balance. Started the race and was picking people off. Got a flat mile 40, which
crap.
at
Oh,
the San
wow.
Felipe 250 that's not ideal.
Yeah.
And then happened to be one of our pit guys was right there. Boom, get it changed, but stuck
Nice.
on. So super long. They're beating it out with
Oh.
hammers, and I'm just sitting there, and somehow no
Let's
one.
go. Let's go.
Yeah, and and somehow no one passed us. So I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah,
But
Well, it
I
probably
was-
felt like an eternity.
Oh,
but
yeah.
maybe it's only a couple minutes.
Yeah, but
it
it
still feels miserable.
It was definitely because I was like, okay, we got a flat. It'll be quick pit guys, 30
Yep.
seconds in, out. And nope, it was 3-4 minutes,
Oh
5
my
minutes. So I was
gosh.
sitting there just and
This is over.
I don't know, you see helicopters going by,
Yep.
even if it's not your helicopter, you're like, dude, someone's coming.
That's what biggest scary.
And
Yeah.
you're but at that point, Hager was out. He crashed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this is,
Still got a
yeah. So
chance
we
here.
picked up the pace, and I was kind of just pissed off at myself. We were cruising, and we were just maintaining. But I was like, I think that might have cost us the win in San Felipe.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
tight.
you already mentally got in
Yeah,
your
no,
head.
mentally,
just-
yeah.
yeah.
So then I'm cruising, whatever, and next thing you know, pick off one more guy. I'm like, okay, that was kind of cool. And then we're on the lake bed and we're ripping and it's all dusty. We're
Yeah.
splitting lines everywhere, and all of a sudden we're going. And I thought it was a one car, and my Bryce riding with me. He's like, dude, that's Kurbowski. And I'm like,
sick.
okay,
He's in the lead.
yeah, I did. Kurbowski was definitely in the top, so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we picked a good line. 10 seconds later, boom, flat tire.
Oh, again.
At a
You another flat tire.
Yeah, at 100 and something.
Was it a rear
on
tire?
on the lake
Yeah,
bed?
on the lake bed.
Oh my god.
and
dude.
we're skating, and so we pull way off, and it's scary because it's just a dust ball.
Yeah, you're gonna get
And we
hit.
pull way off, get out. All of a sudden, Kurbowski passes us, because he was chasing our dust cloud as we.
Oh, because when you passed him, he got behind you.
yeah,
Oh my
so
God,
and
dude.
so he missed.
So
Bryce.
he went way off too.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was out in the
man.
boonies, dude. And it was so that. And so I'm like, dude. And at this point, just cars are passing us, and I'm like, all right,
It's over,
day's
yeah.
over,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever.
So start cruising, and just I'm kind of pissed off. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna cruise, get the thing to the finish.
let's
If
go.
I don't
Yeah.
finish it at
Finish.
this
We're
point,
now just going to
yeah.
finish mode.
yeah, and then we had that race on the lake. So right after that, we go back up the lake bed. We had the race with Christian Serapis,
Yeah.
which I don't know if you saw that online, where we were racing.
Oh,
and
yes, I saw
we
it,
were
yeah.
drafting and stuff.
Really?
It was a really cool race. We were legit drafting, and I pass them on the lake bed. It's a whole tobacco. Just check it out on Race Desert.
Really?
If you're ever bored.
It's a whole deal.
No, so yeah, that, and then we just started cruising, and I knew I was in front of them, but I was thinking I was like 4th, 3rd, 5th, and I was just cruising, just logging miles, and then they're like, "Oh, you're like 2 minutes behind the leader," and I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm not."
Like 2 minutes.
I'm like, because I was like counting off in the head. I easily had 5 cars in front of me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Kept picking them off, and then all of a sudden, Karbowski, who was leading the race, was stuck in a hole, and they're like, "You're leading," and I'm like, if you asked how many times I asked our pit guys, are you 100% sure we're leading?
Yeah.
Because they're like, just cruise now. Just cruise. No one's going to, like, if you keep that pace. And I'm like,
how bad did you want to, like, almost go faster when you
I
were
wanted to
leading?
go faster.
You want to get there. You want to be
I thought
done.
there was someone else. I was
Yeah.
chasing this imaginary ref. And that's what my co-driver, he's like, "Dude, they've said it's legit. Like, just chill. Just focus." And because I'm like, I was like, "I don't think we're leading." And they're like,
You're
"We're
like,
leading."
oh, shit.
So, yeah, then whatever. We finished. We got to the finish. And even when we got to the finish,
Like, no way.
yeah, first car, and I'm like looking around.
Like, no, there's
I'm
got to
like,
be another car in
dude,
here.
who's
I'm
punking
like,
my ass?
they are like, yeah, they punked me good. And then I finally, like, they're like, "Yeah, it's legit." And I'm like, "Oh,
All right.
okay." Like, it's
I'll
still
take it.
like, it took me to see it the next day on the official
Rad.
results to like actually
Because they
truly
still got to go through things. Now you start questioning, like, did I miss that marker?
Yeah.
Did I
Oh,
do
yeah.
this?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did I go too far off the track when I got that flat tire? Or,
Oh
like,
yeah, and then they were gonna protest me, and yeah,
Oh,
it was
my
a whole
God.
nine yards.
Really?
Oh yeah, they
man.
were in the pits, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but yeah, it was one of those moments.
What an epic,
It's
though,
like,
like-
it's another high
Yeah.
where that's what we do it for.
That's what you do
all
it for,
the long
exactly.
days, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Get that win.
That's bitching,
Massive, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you in these comfortable chairs, but my ass is getting a little bit sore.
It's not a first for you, buddy.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, what would you say is your takeaway from this whole conversation?
I think Chris has set a great example for a lot of people, a lot of racers that are trying to get into it, or just people in general with good work ethic. I think that's a massive deal, and separating yourself from people, separating yourself from others, from your competition. So I think my takeaway is separate yourself as much as you can from others to make yourself stand out.
Mine is just make sure we're having type 2 fun.
Dude, type 2. No, I thank you guys for having me. Thanks for letting me rant a little.
thank you.
Seriously, once I
Yeah,
get
thank you,
talking,
man.
I just don't shut up.
That's what podcasts
that's what
are for.
I like about podcasts. So
That's what they're for. You guys follow Chris. He does some amazing stuff. He lives an epic life, so it's really cool to follow along. I feel like I'm on all the adventures with him because he posts so much cool content. He's got a vlog series. He posts on YouTube all the time, Instagram, Facebook, or anything else?
Instagram, Facebook,
The whole
TikTok,
deal.
and all. Actually, YouTube. And one plug: if you want to come and adventure with me, I'm looking for a full-time filmer right now. So
you should. All right. I'll put the word out too. Try to get
yeah.
some
Put
more
out
people,
the
but-
no. I've got some candidates.
I mean,
but
I got this
No.
pretty cool device right here, dude. I can get after it.
He's in. Sean's in.
that's the
wants
problem.
a type
Nowadays,
two.
everyone's a filmmaker.
I know. Everyone's a filmmaker.
Coming through resumes, man. I've been like,
Like great. Great. Yeah, I'll put all of his stuff in the description below. But thank you for cruising on with us, and we had a great time.
Yeah, and guys, I mean, we've got an amazing influencer, automotive enthusiast with living a great lifestyle. Tune in next time. We got some other great guests coming.
Yeah.
A lot of familiar names. Thanks for the support. Thanks for your support, man. And if you ever want to come give my son some pointers, by all means, I'm sure
let me
he'd
know.
love to.
I'm
Or
in. I
He's
you
all
love
about
doing
it.
that stuff.
You want to put him in the passenger seat, like of the Pro Light?
He's the future, man. I feel like I'm getting old. Like I got a limp now.
Stop.
Right
on.
Quick drop though. On the next episode, we are having some family that builds the baddest sand cars in Glamis.
Who could that be?
I guess we'll find out, right?
The baddest.
The
huh?
baddest.
And a family?
Family. That's it. We're out.
Dun,
See ya.
dun,
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got 'em picking up the pieces.